I left it sitting on my desk.
You're on.
Okay, good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, May 13th, 2025, the meeting of the Wareham Affordable Housing Trust, and I have 9:02.
9:02.
I'd like to call the meeting to order. Mr. Schultz, roll call here, please.
Roll call, hang on, we're waiting. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Starting with Ms. Slavin
Sandy Slavin.
Jim Manise,
and the clerk Carl Schultz is present. Member Whiteside
Will be joining us shortly.
will be joining us shortly, so we'll read her into the record when she arrives.
thank you, sir. All righty, I like that. Call to order, roll call. Minutes to review and approve. Mr. Schultz sent out the minutes last week. Everybody had a chance to review it. He sent out a second copy.
I made the change, one of the changes you asked it, Sandy, about adding the action. I could not find that other reference.
Yeah, I have no idea what a trust funding register is that I'm supposed to update.
Okay.
And I have no
I
idea.
I know what it is, but I couldn't find it in the minutes.
What is it?
It's the Plymouth Registry of Deeds, I think. Isn't that what it is? Show me where it is in the minutes, because I couldn't find it to fix it.
You got a line there?
Yeah. And I'm normally pretty good about keeping track of my action items.
Let's just strike that for now, and then
Okay.
I'll go back and figure
Then
out.
I make a motion, we accept the minutes of April 8th, 2025 as amended.
So I will post it without that, and then I will research what I took that to mean and let you know, and we can add it in the future.
I don't need it.
We've
Do you
had a
want it
mo-
back? Carl, do you want it back?
Oh, great, that would be.
We've had a motion. Did we get a second on that, Carl?
Second,
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion beyond the change that Mr. Schultz is gonna be made, striking an item related to a registry?
right, and then I'll research that, I'll take an action to research that and
Thank you.
resurface it.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Jim Manise, aye. That's 3-0-0. Moving on, vote and discussion recommend the reappointment of Sandy Slavin to the Wareham Affordable Housing.
I move that the trust recommend the reappointment of Sandra Slavin for 3 years. Is it a 3-year term, Sandy?
2-year, right?
2 years.
Reappoint,
I know, I'm trying to think, is it 3,
I
5,
think
2? I don't know.
I think it's.
Just say reappointment.
reappoint.
I vote that the trust recommend that Sandra Slavin be reappointed as a member of the Affordable Housing Trust.
I'll second that. Any discussion? I'd just like to say she does a great job, details, keeping us on our toes with the records, and thank you. All in favor, Mr. Schultz?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Mrs. Slavin,
Aye.
please. Thank you. 3-0-0.
Oh, and just a request, I'm getting better at the minutes, but if whenever somebody makes a motion or we refer to someone, speak their name, because then it gets recorded and it helps me remember.
Okay,
I'll try to remember.
Yeah.
Okay, open items, continuing business. 6 Chapel Lane, we have Mr. Boschman here. Did you get your check, sir?
We did, thank you very much.
Very good. How things going there?
Things are moving along, starting to dig today.
Oh, great. That's great. How about with the state? They,
I have not heard back from them yet.
dang it, huh?
Good things take time,
Yeah, I guess you're right. Anything else?
not at this point.
All right, well, thank you. The Village at 801 Main Street, I thought I had sent out the letter that I had sent, that we approved the grant for the $60,000. And that was to the Undersecretary for Housing and Development, Catherine Racer. And basically, it's approved, and completion of the grant agreement with the town, the proponent securing all other necessary financing and having recorded deed restriction in perpetuity on that property before funds would be released. Okay, anything else? That's all I have on that, and I don't see the representative for the proponent, so Nanette Perkins. So we'll just continue. It's pretty quick today. SHIs, 57 Sandwich Road, deed restriction, DIs for deed restrictions. Occupancy permits need to be issued before the town can request the deed restrictions, and also I believe there has to be an agreement done up between the town and the proponent, as it's not part of Agawam Village, which is the state subsidized.
They're not?
It's called
Those four units are called something else?
Oakdale Terrace and I found that out like last year.
You're on the housing authority.
That's when I got appointed, was last year, when first elected was last year.
Why
so-
would they not? Sorry.
Some things are beyond my ability to comprehend.
This is very confusing because the CPA funds were given to the Agawam Housing Authority in order to manage those property. All the checks were issued to the Agawam Housing Authority.
Right.
And you're
for
telling
the
me they're
project.
not?
It's the Agawam Housing Authority, we own them. But it's not under the state subsidized program, which is, I think, 667. That's the number
Wow.
of the program.
So they're not subsidized?
So, not from the state.
And from
It's
who?
just totally run through the funds, as Mr. Boschman's would be, received for the rents. But because there's no costs, the cost was very low for the construction, they're able to come in at what would be affordable rents. And they have not had they have not leased the units, and we have not had a lottery to do so with qualifications related to income and ability to pay.
So if they're not subsidized, are they still subject to DHCP?
Because it was a grant through community preservation.
Are they still subject to DHCP control and,
No, yes and no. No,
so they don't have to meet income restrictions from the state regulation?
correct. To the best of my knowledge.
You need to maybe go
Whoa,
back to.
we gave them, CPC gave them money that they deemed deed restrict in
That's
affordable
correct.
housing.
That's why I brought it up, that there needs to be a deed restriction recorded, that they be affordable.
Cause
So that's, I'm just trying to tie some loose ends up. And so having, as it's an affordable housing issue, and it has to do with SHI, and we have members on the both boards here. It's a good discussion. So, and I'm sure we can get it taken care of.
Yeah, but that, again, that really, I'm glad we informed Sandy, but that really needs to be an action item for the CPC, right?
In us too. I will.
Yeah,
get
I
it.
mean, if-
Why would it be our action?
No, us, I mean, my hat, as she talks about wearing different
Oh,
hats.
your hat on
Housing authority.
Housing Authority, yeah, okay. Great, it's something we should be aware of, we should act as a bully pulpit on the trust, but we have no ability to act in this matter, right?
correct,
So I
because
just,
we have no control of the funds that have been issued for this project.
But you can bring it back to the CPC.
Yeah, yes,
and I'll move it,
because
yes.
it was always because the Agawam Housing Authority submitted the grant request. There was never any indication it was anything other than a part of the Agawam Housing
The
Authority
Wareham Housing
complex.
Authority.
Wareham
Yeah.
Housing Authority. So there was nothing at all that gave us an indication that this was separate and complete.
And it was
So we,
approved.
should I say we were duped?
No, it's just, I think, process and lack of,
Cause we paid the
Clarity.
check to Wareham Housing
no, it
Authority.
went to Wareham Housing Authority. It's under the control of Wareham Housing Authority. They
But
just gave it a different name instead of Agawam Village. named it-
Those kinds of
I
minor
agree.
little things create confusion, create suspicion,
I brought it
create
up.
uncertainty.
I brought it up with purpose, without malice, and it was voted on for affordable housing by town meeting
yes,
with the understanding that a deed restrictions be
Would-
recorded.
yes,
So
well,
we'll move forward. And
someone from the Housing Authority is on CPC and we meet tomorrow night and I will ask.
thank you.
Maybe you should send the agenda over right now, or that's 48-hour business, you could get it, right?
It's,
However you wanna do it.
it's too soon. I mean, it will be discussed,
Okay.
cause we always discuss open projects.
Oh, you could get it under that, I just wanted to make sure you got it on the agenda, that's all.
Thank you.
You've
Yeah.
got-
I
you've
just
got 'em
wanted to
one
bring
place
that
over.
up.
That's good, that's good.
Royal Estates, the deed restrictions state process, state assigned monitor reporting. I still haven't found out who the state assigned monitor is. Have you, Mr. Schultz?
No, I have not, I asked,
Okay.
but, and I have not,
We've tried. I'll
and
try
we need to go
again.
back and make sure that it was filed. I think that was on one of my actions.
No, I found some,
You found it
someone
in the
sent it,
registry of deeds?
but I didn't find who the state assigned monitor was, but I did find that the document stating that the affordability restrictions on the transfer of properties from a certain date forward would be monitored by
No, but I'm
an appointed
saying,
authority.
do we have confirmation from the Plymouth Registry of Deeds that the deed restriction was filed?
Well, that's where it came from, what I saw.
Oh, I didn't see what you said.
Someone sent it to me, I'll forward that to
Okay,
you.
great.
Okay, CBDG housing rehab, I have not heard back from Mr. Darrow, I need to send him another hello. And inquiry about what we had spoken to.
I haven't heard back, oh, I'm sorry.
No,
That
go
was
ahead.
something- I thought, we weren't on one. I thought we
Now we'll
were.
go to 5.4 regional housing,
Yeah, I haven't heard back from Mr. Gagny.
yeah,
I have to fix the spelling of his name, I just.
so I sent him a notice that you would be, did I send you that? That you would be the representative of the board and to contact you and your contact information.
I have not heard from him at all.
Okay, can't reach this page, that's nice. All right, so, you know what, and not to, I'm not surprised at this point in time, based upon where it was at when, during our discussion. You know, the whole concept, and I think it was still development. Let me see if this will let me in. If you bear with me one moment, please. Now it did, and I want to go to tab and A. Go there. Go there. It's working. And sent items. Da, 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 da. Okay, yeah, I sent that to Mr. Gagne at on 4/10.
Yeah, I haven't heard back, so. I'll double check my email, but
Okay, and you sent out to him, you reached out
I
to him.
reached
huh?
out to him as well.
Okay, good. So we've covered our base on that. Do we want to continue to have that on our agenda? Or-
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'll let you know if I hear anything and we can add
Then
it
we
back
will.
in.
Okay, I appreciate you doing that. Keep it short, right, remove from agenda unless I hear from Kyle. From Kyle. Okay, so this is, I keep it on there ongoing and, discussion on qualification for limits of grants, percentage of income. And that would be, more for individual requests. Or I guess grants, period. We did discuss it somewhat last time, related to us funding things and then CPC funding things and the necessity of both or, projects up to. Any thoughts on that, or we want to just keep, I would like to have some sort of, understanding on it for where we're gonna be working at or for.
So my only,
Whatever.
no, I'm trying to make sure I say what I mean. Whatever the trust decides on those limits, and when we come to that conclusion, we should update those documents we were trying to prepare. The guidance documents.
Right, the ones that are on our website.
Right, which all
Right.
need to be brought, they're all need to
And
be.
Sandy had suggested we wait until the beginning of the new year,
Yeah.
fiscal year,
Right.
before we updated them, correct?
Yes.
Yes, so,
Okay, so,
but that would be my only
Yeah.
comment. Once, if and when we decide to adjust any of those comments, or if and when we decide to improve or change any of those documents, we should just do that.
okay. I'll leave it on, our agenda. Mrs. Slavin, do you have any, input on that? Have you given it any further thought?
I've not given it any further thought.
So,
So we'll just keep it as an open item
open item and,
for discussion.
yeah, related to what's reasonable for us to be able to award, but we also, leading into our next item, I'll jump to 5.6 now. A grant application, closing date for 2025 fall town meeting. What is the, closing date for that?
Second Tuesday in July.
Okay, second Tuesday in July.
I just looked it up because I forgot if it was June or July.
I wasn't sure either. It used to be June, right?
Yeah, then we had, it was just too much of a lead, so we moved it to July.
That's all right. I appreciate it. So at present, on a budgetary side, we have our funds, we have affordable housing trust funds, which with interest gotta be somewhere around, I don't know, 150. It comes,
Okay.
we'll get like 500 a month interest, which is nice. We thank Mr. Foster for
In
that.
here someplace, in here
I wish I was organized like her.
We started the year with 149,000.
And we get about 500 a month, right?
Yeah.
So
That's another 6,000.
Yeah, so that's good, 156, and what do we have left in the CPC funds?
You were gonna ask me. We had 50 for you, 4 came out of the old one, 46 came out of, what did we get, 150,000, 156,000?
We closed out the 2010.
No, yeah, I know, but
Right.
the last one, CPA was 150,000, I think,
Do you remember?
but
Kyle,
150 from town?
Yes,
250, wasn't it?
No,
no, it was 150.
150,
150?
of which we spent 46, so we're 104. Did I add that up right?
You're
104?
probably
I
right, you're
think so.
pretty quick.
I'll take this and update that sources and uses of fund, which is useful to me. I don't know if it's useful to the rest of you.
Believe me,
Normally, you only-
organization's always useful. Okay, so at this point, we believe we have 150. No. You said we got 150, huh? From that second CPC funding?
150,000.
That's what
And
Can we
fall
remove
20,
46?
fall 23.
excuse me, for the record, please show that member Whiteside arrived at 9:21.
I apologize, I had another meeting that I couldn't,
Understood.
thank you.
Thank you very much for attending, being here. So that means we got about 104,000, you said, Mrs. Slavin, right? Left in the CPC?
Yep.
Okay, good.
So we have 104 from CPC and we have, what did I say, another
About
six,
160, 149 plus 6, 155.
155.
Well, so I think we should probably, as I believe there's at least one project coming down the pipe. Would that be this year maybe or no? Request.
We're leaning towards this year, if possible.
Um,
Working on it as we speak.
I'd like to suggest we request some more funding through CPC.
I wouldn't, may I?
You may.
The idea of CPC giving Affordable Housing Trust access to funds, to me is a circle. I would ask the applicant to ask for the money he wants directly from one source, being CPA funds, as opposed to some from CPA and some from us, since it's all coming from CPA. Should I try that again?
No, because I understood it, and if
So-
I understood it,
So I would like to offer commentary. The charter, not the town charter, but the law that established affordable housing trusts for the state was founded on the principle and the understanding that the primary source of funding for the affordable housing trusts would come from CPA funds. That was the founding premise. I will resurrect, I provided it to the trust in the past. I will resurrect it. Now, that doesn't change your comment and concern, but that was the founding principle for the law when it was established in 2010. So I will resurrect that for discussion, but I understand exactly your concern because we're not yet to the point.
We can't fund ourselves.
Well, two things. We don't have any other source of funding at the moment, but the other idea which we continue to talk about was being able to act quickly to fund projects. We're just not getting those kinds of projects either.
Because to say to act quickly, we asked for that 150,000 to respond to quick request. Well, I'm sorry, but the project we just paid for Sixth Chapel has been on our doorstep for almost 2, if not
No,
3
I-
years.
I-
That's not quick. So I would have a tough time telling the town, oh, we need more money for a quick response when it takes us. We're not doing quick responses because no one's asking us for quick resolution for affordable.
I acknowledge, I said that's the
Yes,
dilemma that we
yes.
face at the
Mhm.
moment.
Okay, so
should that be on
So
is
we
that
have-
under this part of the agenda, or should you put it on another agenda for
Excuse me.
sort of more groovy stuff? I don't know.
grant application closing
Yeah.
date. Well, we discussed, well, yes, because we brought up
What do we wanna do for a closing
closing
date?
date
Okay,
and if we wanted to request more funding
okay.
through CPC. So do you have anything to speak on this, Ms. Whiteside?
Yes, if you don't mind.
That's why I asked.
Sorry. I agree with Sandy because I think the perception is a slow boat, okay? I know that if Carl says that that's the, the founding premise, that's an accurate statement. But there's a perception of slow. And there's also a perception of having to go through 2 loops. That this group has to go through a loop, and then the applicant also has to go through a loop. So that's actually 2 loops that this group has to go through. And I'm not convinced that that's appropriate, and I agree, I'm leaning to agreeing with Ms. Slavin.
Yeah, CPA, other than the $1.2 million, has funds. And if the applicant is asking for 150 from CPA and 50 from us, then go to CPA and ask for 200. They've got the bigger bucket.
I understand the struggle that we're facing. There's another minor,
Yeah, you want the money in our own pocket.
which is what the law says. So
maybe the law.
Well, no, again,
Totally understand that, but
that
that's not,
addresses Ms. Whiteside's concern about the multi-step process. We've got to decide if we, it's an
Existential.
that
thing.
word, the question, because if we don't go to CPC for funds, then we have no funds.
because we have no more, like Charlton Place that gave us 7,000
And-
per unit.
And
We don't need that.
we don't we don't have the ability to write our own grants, and as I said, the founding principle was.
We talked
So-
about somewhere down the line, going to the town and say, can we have X percentage of an estimated revenue for affordable
I
housing
agree.
trust? 10 for affordable housing to CPC, X for us for affordable. And we've not presented that as an article.
But again, we're discussing.
Yeah.
If we were to do that and divide that income stream,
Mm-hmm.
what's the difference if we just then went to the CPC and got that every year
Because
funded into our
then
account?
we wouldn't have to go to town meeting every year and ask for fund from CPC. It would be an automatic
okay,
deposit
that-
into
that's-
our account,
That's
like our reserves.
that's a good answer,
And-
thank you.
I have to agree, and I recommended that.
Yes,
It
you
was on
did.
the board
It's been on the
before.
table for a long time.
And
So in any
so-
case, yeah, we need to address this.
Yeah, so here's my perception on this. Practice versus perception. So a proponent comes to us and says, well, we'd like to know if you'd support our project and, for X amount of dollars or give us a letter to submit to the state that you support this project. So we can say, yes, we will commit to supporting it for X amount of dollars, right there. We can give them a letter and saying, yes, we support it, we can give them X amount of dollars towards the program, this individual, and we'll provide you a letter stating such, that we approve it. So when you go through CPC, you can say, yeah, we like the idea. Then you gotta go to town meeting and hope that town meeting passes it. There's a difference. And we showed that there's a committal, both in writing and financially, to a small amount, to the ability to us to provide it. So that's a big difference. Would you like to say something, Mr. Boschman?
Please, I think with the support of funds from the trust side, and if it goes to if it goes to town meeting and it gets denied for money from the CPC,
CPA funds, yeah.
CPA funds, we as the developer can go to the Mass Housing Trust and ask for funds from them, showing that the town denied, the town members denied it. But the town is in support of the project, or the housing trust is in support of it, if that makes sense. I do believe that's
understand
an
your input.
eligible project that way.
Mrs. Whiteside, I see you thinking.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know that when there was discussion about the WRA, that there was discussion about doing this. That the one of the foci, is that a word?
Foci.
Foci?
Foci.
Okay, is redevelopment, and that includes not just what I would call commercial and industrial property, but it also entails housing, it entails amenities like, whatever attracts people to this town. If you, and I'm not suggesting that it happened overnight, but I'm guessing that maybe putting the housing trust in partnership somehow with WRA, which is having a little bit of a problem in terms of understanding where it's going. Does that help? And that's just sort of,
No, I understand what you're saying,
and that's a little off track, but.
Mr. Schultz?
No, I'm thinking, I was unaware that the WRA was at sea.
Well, it's not at sea, but.
Well, I'm sorry, I was
yeah.
trying to summarize.
What's happening is that there are a lot of ideas, but it's tough to redevelop. Okay. you-
Implementation takes a while.
Yeah, so if you look at the downtown rezoning and the concept of going up 60 feet, you know, blah, blah. That was to encourage housing or multi-use properties
Right.
downtown. And even though there was some resistance, you know, to the height limitation, that was clear.
That was me.
Stop. Yeah.
I let it go.
That was part of the concept of the rezoning of that entire area.
Yes.
So,
A vibrant downtown
right,
was
encourage, right,
structured around
right.
mixed use and housing and retail and restaurant. So,
Yeah.
yes,
So maybe what I'm suggesting is that you invite the chair of WRA or, you know,
that's still Dan?
to the next meeting and sort of say, you know, how do we help each other
Yeah. I
do
understand
what we're
you're
supposed to?
saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I will. He's welcome anytime, so.
Right, but if
Yeah.
you put it
I
on the
get you.
agenda and sort of
Yeah.
let him think
So-
about it, how he would
Yeah.
view what I don't know.
So, you know,
Would that
for
just
some
be a
reason.
downtown event
No,
No,
because,
it's just on the agenda to.
yeah,
throughout the
because
town?
Wareham redevelopment is the town. We're
Okay.
focusing right now on downtown, if you will,
The
downtown.
redevelopment authority. So,
Yes.
so what I did is, a while ago, I looked up, because I'm on the housing authority
Right.
also. The definitions
Congratulations,
in,
by the way,
oh, thank you.
or
If I had lost, I'd been very disappointed as I was unopposed.
I know.
I would have been like
Mickey
in
Mouse
bed for
could
a
have
month.
beaten you or something. I don't know.
So, you know, looking at it, a redevelopment authority can be just a redevelopment authority, it can be both. It was never created as both.
Right, that's
So
correct.
we have one role, they have another.
But they,
We have a very nicely balanced board.
Mhm.
In the sense of, we have someone for CPC, planning, housing authority, select board, and we're waiting for a fifth person. I think we have good balance.
Mhm.
And I personally don't see the same balance on redevelopment. I understand the structure, and at times can streamline things.
all
So,
I'm
but I
suggesting is
will
they,
invite him
Yeah.
and see what we can do, and I'll talk, we plan on getting together, have a breakfast,
Okay.
maybe walk downtown and walk the back alley and see how things look and
Yeah.
have conversation on how we can improve it without.
Wear a hard hat.
Yeah, I go through there quite a bit, looking at things and how
Yeah.
it might be improved.
so I'm
So-
not suggesting,
Yeah.
I'm suggesting working together.
I
And I
agree.
think that that's one of the things, and I think you would certainly agree that we're not particularly good about that in terms of
You're correct.
working together with
You're
other
correct.
committees and
There
towns.
are a lot of
I-
stovepipes around.
You're correct.
Stovepipes.
And thank
They
you.
know where they are, they don't know
Right,
beyond.
and yeah, so that would be my
Excellent.
suggestion,
Excellent,
Mr. Muniz.
thank you.
Because they may know of something we haven't heard of yet,
Well, I would hope that
but
Director
maybe
of Planning would bring it to us if it is related to affordable
it's a
housing.
new director of planning.
Whomever, old, new.
Right, and
Yeah.
and I agree with you, I think there should be a whole lot more, let's hold hands and get it done.
Like a big
But no.
kumbaya.
Well, yeah, okay, kumbaya.
I find it very helpful to be on more than one board.
Because you get a different perspective on each one.
Yep.
And so
Yeah.
that's,
That you don't pick
that's
up-
why
that you
I'm
don't
sort
pick
of
up in minutes.
suggesting, you know.
Yeah, a lot of stuff you don't get in minutes.
Yeah.
Thank
Sorry.
you.
No, that
Please
was, I think that was a
reappoint
nice discussion, but still, I'm gonna keep that on for our June meeting as far as funding. I think we need it and ought to continue to operate, and we can continue to have this discussion and see how things shake out. How's that?
Okay.
Okay, inclusionary housing bylaw, we'll go to 5.7 now. I believe one of the programs that the Mass Housing Partnership Institute for June 4th and 5th will be touching on that. I sent you the information related to it.
Mhm.
I will probably attend the first day, but not the second. And anybody else who's interested, you know,
Josh said he couldn't do either date
I
because he
don't
didn't.
know.
Oh, I
I-
sent it to him.
No, no, I
because-
mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm sorry,
not-
yeah.
okay, so, I don't know about you.
I
You may.
I'm
Yeah.
looking at my calendar.
Yeah.
So I do have a comment when you're ready to.
No, I
See what
just,
we
I
got.
just wanted to discuss it because I need to know more about it.
Mm.
I've read some more about it and the inclusionary housing bylaws and their ability to, for enforcement. But if under a special permit, I believe it could become a condition. But that's for,
Yeah, yes.
Planning or zoning to
we were
implement.
We were given all those caveats. My only input then to
Yes,
you
sir.
as someone who's very interested, we are moving forward with issuing the RFP under the One Stop Grant to rewrite the zoning bylaws. Once that
I get you.
that RFP is issued and a firm awarded and we can begin the process, I will make sure that you're aware so that you can
Thank
at
you.
least submit input on that concept and we could consider how it might get included in the revised zoning bylaws.
thank you. And that would be sooner than not, right? That you.
I-
Yeah, okay.
I have no idea how long this process is gonna take.
You've gotten a grant, you've received a grant award from the state
We have-
specifically for that?
We have the award specifically for that.
Okay.
Now we have to write, and the RFP is written. Judith, did you get that? You got a copy of that, right? As chair of select board?
Yes,
Okay, yeah, I thought you did. I looked
Yep.
at that, yes.
yes.
So we're now coordinating with Derek to get it, cause he's the administrator of these processes.
Yes, he is. He's a procurement officer.
Yes, oh, that's the word I was looking for, but anyway, we've gotta get the RFP issued, then we need to select the
Yeah.
firm, and then,
I get you, I get you.
so,
So good.
so that the
Thank you.
process is moving forward, and when you asked how long,
And I'll know more, and you know, because I'm interested in it, and I've been working at this for probably 4 or 5 years. When I was on the board previously, I tried to get some movement on it through planning and development, but never was able to do so. So beyond that, let's go to 5.8, how's that? We good with that last subject matter, ladies?
You know, I think the WRA might even have a copy of that, or be thinking about that under the
Which,
the inclusionary housing
Yeah.
bylaw. I think this,
okay,
throw that on the table if I was going to.
Yeah.
I may be wrong, Jim, but that's, I'm pretty sure.
yeah, I know.
I
this-
was
Go ahead.
incredibly educated but taken aback about all of the hurdles that I forget the young lady's name, but about actually getting them in. It seems like a great idea, but when she explained all the hurdles,
Yeah.
I could see why it's.
Yeah. I think it came down to a legal thing with the courts,
Yeah.
as far as
Yeah.
forced implementation.
And there's not a lot of voluntary implementation, so.
No, unless,
Because there's not a lot of incentive.
unless you
so-
go back to special permits and conditions.
Right.
Are we gonna say anything, Mrs. Slavin?
Nope.
Okay, so going to, annual report for the town's, annual report. Any input you'd like to see on that, please forward it to me, suggestions, so I can draft something that's, from the board.
When I write my annual reports, I tend to go back over all the minutes.
Okay,
And it gives me, oh, I forgot about that because, what happened 9, 10 months ago. It does slip through the brain.
okay, anything else that anybody would like to see, and I will send it out to you beforehand. And, what do you like it, like a page, Mrs. Whiteside? You don't want, you want, I like to keep things direct to the point.
I like your style.
Thank you. All right, one
And
page.
it's Times New Roman,
This year?
always.
No courier? Is that 10 or 12 point?
12 is fine.
And it's due the first
But
of July, right?
accomplishments is a really good idea. You know,
Okay.
Pat, yourself,
you.
yeah,
When is it due?
July 31st.
End of July.
31st or June
Okay.
30th?
It's
July
as of June 30th.
30th. Okay.
Yes.
It's due no later than July 31st. and
One
on
month,
about-
okay,
About the 15th, you'll start getting nagged.
okay,
That's
one
all
month
right.
after month end,
Yeah,
one month after
one-
year end.
Yes,
Okay,
July 30th.
yeah,
Shouldn't
31st,
have
yeah.
said that, should have said like the 5th. so I'd
Okay,
get it
July
done.
5th. For you, it's July 5th.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, annual, Carl, anything else on that? No?
I have nothing.
Any member comments, updates, discussion? Yes, Mrs. Whiteside.
Just one comment, if you haven't been down to Littleton Drive, you should drive through Littleton
Okay.
Drive.
And that's
Um,
for everybody out there.
Yeah, it's just a wonderful, wonderful location.
Get that,
They
Mr.
are
Schultz?
still,
I drive through all the time.
yeah, they are still accepting applications, but if you want to see a class act, that's a class act.
Now, is that application for the affordable aspect of it?
I think it's both. I think they
Okay.
have both vacancies on both.
Good.
And they
Um,
actually, they had a billboard up. You know, the one by the Chinese restaurant on Route 6? They had a, I'm pretty sure they
I
have
didn't know
that as
that.
a billboard.
That's nice.
And they have little signs in different places around town.
I'm
Has the
surprised that,
neighborhood outrage kind of subsided?
I think actually some of the neighbors might have moved, but yes, they have been,
I haven't seen a lot of.
yeah, they have been really, they being the
developer,
developer has been extraordinarily gracious about, you know, planting plants that they could use and destroy, that kind of stuff. So they've tried, they've over-tried to be good neighbors. They haven't yet scheduled a time for their grand opening. It was supposed to be sometime in June, but I don't think it's gonna happen, but we'll see. Anyway, it's a great, fabulous asset to the community.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Mrs. Slavin,
yes,
anything?
no, I'm all done.
All right,
I had nothing more to add, nothing to be included. We've got some projects coming down the line where we're just waiting for time.
okay, Ed, any business under 48 hours? Hearing none, I move, can we get a move to adjourn?
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
At 9:44.
Okay,
Great.
got a motion, a second to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Good night all, good day all, whatever it is.
Thank you.
Judy.